Hello, this is Mr. Kenyon Nola, and here is part 5 of the unit circle. So thanks for going along for the ride for the unit circle. We're just going to finish it off with this last part. Okay, so we're going to finish it off with filling out all these blanks right here. So if you notice, when we left off at part 4, we didn't fill in any of these blanks right here, the distance. And if you look at mine, I filled in some of it because I'm redoing this video because I messed up in the original part 5. So hopefully this one works out. So these middle ones are distance, and distance is measured in radians. So if you're in geometry and for the most part of your class, your teacher said, okay, make sure your calculator's in deg or degrees. Okay, make sure it's not in rad or radians. Okay, this is what radians means. Okay, it's actually the arc length. Okay, so let's write distance, and it's called in radians. Okay, so it's measured by radians. If let's start off with this easy one. It's just 0 because we don't have any distance if we don't move anywhere. And if you notice, mine, I already have a 2 pi. This is how we got the 2 pi. If we start off from this point and went all the way around the circle and found the distance around this unit circle, remember the formula, or remember the word for distance around a circle is called circumference, and the formula for circumference is 2 pi r. And because this is called the unit circle, the radius is 1. So if we plugged in 1 for this r right here, it's just 2 times pi times 1, which is just 2 pi. So the distance going from this point and going all the way around is 2 pi. This is really important. Okay, so we have 0 and we have 2 pi. Let's go on to this next one right here. Okay, so this rotation from 0 to 30 degrees, that's that rotation, 30 degrees out of 360. So you guys notice I wrote 30 out of 360, but that's just in degrees. Let's figure that out as a fraction. I'm going to take my calculator just to make it a point. So let's write 30 out of 360, and let's simplify that. That's 1/12. So 30, so that means we're going only 1/12 out of the entire circle. So we want 1/12 out of 2 pi. Okay, so if I multiply 1/12 times 2 pi, that's just pi over 6. Okay, so this distance from here to here is pi over 6. Okay, now let's go from here. Let's find this arc length. Okay, so starting from 0 all the way to over here. Okay, and that rotation is 45 degrees. Okay, so let's just show the work over here. So we want 45 out of 360. And remember, we're just finding the arc length from here to here. 45 out of 360, excuse me, is 45 out of 360 is 1/8. Okay, and we want 1/8 out of 2 pi. Okay, so 1/8 out of 2 pi, if we could simplify that. So 2 over 8 is 1/4 pi. 1/4 pi, or pi over 4. So this is pi over 4 simplified. Okay. And this one right here. So now you guys see the formula that I'm using. I'm just taking that rotation. So 60 degrees out of 360. Okay, because we don't want the entire circle. We want to get this. Now we want to get this distance, this in radians. So 60 out of 360 out of the entire circle, which is 2 pi. Okay, and so 60 out of 360 is 1/6 of the way times 2 pi, which is 1/3 pi, or pi over 3. So if we simplify this, this would be 2 pi over 6, and that would turn into pi over 3. Okay, so this is how you figure out all these radians. I'm just going to keep on going. If you want to have a race and see if you could get the same answers as me, let's go for it. So this one is 90 out of 360. And if you haven't gotten it yet, let's not race. Just follow along. And we want 90. So we want 90 out of 360 degrees out of the 2 pi. Okay, so 90 out of 360 is 1/4 of the way times 2 pi. Okay, and this is 2 pi over 4. And to simplify this would just be pi over 2. Okay, and then this one right here. Let's do the work up here. 120 out of 360 degrees. So we're finding the distance from here all the way to here out of 2 pi. 120 out of 360 is 1/3 times 2 pi, which is just 2 pi over 3. This right here is 135. Let's write it over here. 135 out of 360 times 2 pi. Let's use our calculator for that one. So let's use that, get that fraction button. 135 out of 360 is 3/8. So we're going to multiply 3/8 out of 2 pi. The 2 and the 8 cancel each other out, so that makes that, and that makes it 4. Simplify that, so that would be 3 pi over 4. Okay, this next one, 150 out of 360 times 2 pi. So we're finding that distance all the way over here. Okay, let's use our calculator. 150 out of 360 is 5/12. So this equals 5 over 12 times 2 pi. This 2 and the 12, they reduce. The 2 turns into a 1. The 12 turns into a 6. So this is 5 pi over 6. Okay? And then this going from 0 into 180 degrees. This one we could figure it out without doing any math. This is the halfway point. Half of 2 pi. 2 pi divided by 2 is just pi. Okay. And let's just keep on going. For this one, the radians. So for here, from all the way to here. So 210 over 360 times 2 pi. And let's use our calculator. So 210 over 360 is 7/12 of the way. So this is 7/12 times 2 pi. The 2 gets canceled out. The 12 turns into a 6. So 7 pi over 6. Let's just keep going. This 225. Let's do it over here. 225 out of 360 times 2 pi. So we're rotating only 225 degrees out of the 360 degrees. And so 225 out of 360. And so that's 5/8 of the way times 2 pi. Let's put a 1 under there. The 2 cancels out. This 8 turns into a 4. So that's 5 pi over 4. Okay, so you guys get the idea. So let's just use our calculator to do the rest. So 240 over 360. Okay, times 2 pi. Let's see what that gives us. That gives us 4 pi over 3. 4 pi over 3. Okay, if you want to get your calculator to display it in this and not a decimal, press the mode button and make sure it's in math print. Okay. Okay, so we have 4 pi over 3 over here. We'll do the fraction button again. So 270 out of 360 times 2 pi, which is 3 pi over 2. This 300, okay, 300 over 360 times 2 pi is 5 pi over 3. Almost done. Okay, 315 over 360 times 2 pi is 7 pi over 4. And the very last one, 330 over 360 times 2 pi is 11 pi over 6. And there you have it. There is the entire unit circle. Okay, so all we did to get the distance, the radians, we just took the rotation degree and put it over 360 and multiplied it by 2 pi. We just found that sector length. Okay, so there it is. Hope that helps. That's the unit circle. And yeah, have a great day.